Now then, there are many ways in which you can mount your bike within a triathlon as you come out of T1. But there's one that always turns the heads. It is the flying mount, of course. Now, many people just leave this one purely to the pros, but actually, it's really not as hard as many people think. If done correctly and properly, it can save you some valuable time. So here is how to do a flying mount the easy way. Right, let's start by talking through the kit you're going to need today. So you will need a pair of cycling shoes, a bunch of elastic bands, both of which we're going to set aside for now, because all we need is a pair of trainers, a helmet, and some grass initially, ideally not too soggy though. So let's get straight into this. So we're going to start obviously wearing our trainers and helmet. We need to figure out which side of the bike we prefer to mount from. So for me, I much prefer to mount the bike from the left-hand side of the bike. We also need to set the pedals to the 3 and 6 o'clock position. Now, ideally, we'd have the drive side, which is this side, pointing forwards. I'll explain a little bit more on why that is later on in this video. But now, let's start by walking it through. Firstly, let's look at how we're actually pushing the bike before getting onto it. And for this, I'd actually advise holding the bike by the saddle as opposed to by the handlebars where you might be quite hunched over. By the saddle means you can be in a nice upright, normal posture for running. Also allows you to steer the bike nice and easily and means you're not clipping your shins on the pedals and your shoes constantly. So get used to maneuvering the bike like this, getting really confident with that. And then we want to move our hands down to the handlebars as we cross that T1 mountain line. So get used to doing that, switching from the saddle to the handlebars. And once you're really confident with that, park that and we'll move on to the bit that you've all been waiting for. Now, understandably, the name Flying Mount kind of puts a lot of people off because they envisage jumping up and flying into the air and landing heavily down on the saddle. But that really doesn't need to be the case, and I'm about to show you just how little of a movement it needs to be. So I'm going to walk through this. First of all, hands onto the handlebars already, as I mentioned already, as you will do as you're about to jump onto your bike. And let's walk through this. So I'm going to go up onto my toe, and the leg closest and nearest to the bike is going to come up, around and behind the saddle, and then I'm going to plant myself onto the saddle. That wasn't a very big movement there, and I have got myself onto the saddle. Admittedly, I did need to kind of slide myself across the saddle a touch, and you are going to be doing this at a faster pace. So you might want to put a little bit of a hop in. So try that again, up onto the toe, a little hop, and onto the saddle. That's a very small movement, and probably nothing like you were expecting. So practice this through on a nice soft surface, the grass, build your confidence up, build the speed up with time, and away you go. Now, once you're happy and confident on the grass or softer surface, it's time to step things up a level and take to the road. Carry on just as you are by wearing your running shoes. You may even want to slow things back down initially before you build your confidence and speed back up with time. Again, focus on that small hop rather than a large leap. Okay, now let's do this for real. Time to get those running shoes off. We're going barefoot, or at least with socks on, at least protect the bottom of your feet for this practice run. I'm going to bring the bike shoes in and the elastic bands, and I'm going to show you what to do with both of them now. Okay, first of all, we want to open up our shoes so you can quickly and easily get your feet into them on the fly. With a specific triathlon shoe, you can normally open up the Velcro strap and then lock it out so it doesn't close again afterwards. Then attach the shoes to your pedals. They're nicely fixed in place. And then using your elastic bands, we want to then hold the shoes up at a nice level ready to put our feet down onto. So, put the elastic bands through the heel loop that you hopefully have on the back of your shoes and then attach that to a convenient spot on the bike. Now earlier I mentioned about having the drive side pedal pointing forwards at a 3 o'clock position. Now that will allow you to attach the elastic band to the front mech. And then on the other shoe you can normally attach that to the rear stay or to your quick release skirt.
So let's do this. Initially, you might like to drop the speed back down again just until you gain confidence running barefoot and getting the technique right. Once you've hopped onto your bike, you should be able to place your feet straight down onto your conveniently placed bike shoes that are obviously being held up by elastic bands. Simply start pedaling to break those elastics, and with your feet on top of the shoes, continue to pedal to get yourself up to speed. And then coast whilst you lean down, grab the heel of the shoe to help slip your foot in and then fasten that shoe up. I would then recommend pedaling again to get your speed back up before doing the second shoe. Just be careful not to veer across the road as you do this. Make sure you maintain a good line throughout.
Okay, well that is how to do a flying mount, and hopefully the easy way without you skidding along the floor on your knees. But do let me know how you guys get on, and if you have successfully done a flying mount in the past, let us know in the comments section down below. And we hope to see some of you doing flying mounts at races very soon. If you enjoyed today's video, please do give it a like, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to give us a follow over on social media, and if you're not doing so already, make sure you're subscribed just down below.